So here's a quick preview of the module workflow I'm working on for parallel block diagram blocks. Got this block base interface with a handful of dynamic dispatch VIs, modeling a little bit similar to what New Radio Companion does. Start and stop, initializing before work is to be done, stop when we're cleaning things up, and then work. And this is going to be meant to be fed one iteration's worth of data at a time. And then there will be some higher level code that manages that data shuffling. So no channel wires, no directly touching queues, nothing like that. But what is really, right now, what we're about to demo and really interesting is this get IO type. So just like New Radio Companion blocks have a type descriptor method, I've got my test block here, which has its get IO types, which is this right here. And we've got some type descriptor functionality available that accepts all sorts of types. We've got just regular scalar types of many values. They can be integers, floating point, complex, Boolean. There are range type controls. So let's say you wanted to set up an FM radio tuner that started at 88.1 and went all the way up to 107.9 meg, because of course we wouldn't specify that in any other base units. And then you had a step of 0.2, or 200 kilohertz. And then, of course, you've got outputs. And one of the types we do accept is complex double waveforms. So based on what you specify here for your overridden class instance, I've got this really unimpressive XNode implementation so far. It's just going to draw as a green rectangle. That's all I've got in it so far. Well, and this next thing we'll look at. And then the idea is that a block concrete implementation gets assigned to it. Cool, thanks Windows, goodbye. So eventually there will be like a menu, kind of like an express node that pops up, and you can pick between the known block implementations. For now, I'll just drag it there from the project. And here are the names and type colors of what's specified in this VI. So somebody implementing blocks gets to override a handful of VIs. Start and stop are optional if those are unnecessary. Say you're just doing simulated data sources where you're generating a waveform. You wouldn't need start or stop. You just generate the waveform, called the waveform generation VIs. But you could specify that you're generating waveform outputs, or maybe you're just spitting out a whole bunch of individual values point by point, whatever the case of your block may be, and the rest of the framework will be able to pick up on that. And it doesn't work right, but I am starting to play around with, here we go. This is probably going to crash LabVIEW. Starting to play around with editable text fields within XNodes. So for base parameter types that we want to set the default starting value for, wouldn't even need to bring up an editor dialog for them.